Developing tonight, the U.S. Supreme Court just heard final arguments in Florida's long-running water war with Georgia. Our political editor, Craig Patrick, is joining us now to explain what's at stake and what this all means. Craig.
Well, hi there, Kelly. In terms of what is at stake, it's going to be North Florida's ecosystem. It'll be much of the state's seafood industry and millions of state tax dollars, affecting ultimately all of us. In terms of what it means, well, it means that Florida's decades-long water war with Georgia is nearly over now, and it looks as if Florida is on the brink of a costly defeat. Florida's government claims the growing population of Georgia is sucking much of the water out of our river systems before it reaches North Florida's Apalachicola Bay.
These boys, their daddies and their granddaddies and their great-granddaddies, they made their living in this bay.
This was once the primary source of Florida's oyster industry, at one point producing 90% of the state's supply. But as the flow of fresh water from Georgia is drying up, salt water from the Gulf is flooding into the Apalachicola Bay. And their fishermen and state experts say the change in salinity is altering the food web, and that's wiping out the oysters. The feds declared the natural fisheries there a disaster, and just before Christmas, the state banned oyster harvesting in the Apalachicola Bay for 5 years in an effort to try to save it. Now Florida is taking one last swing at trying to force Georgia to cut back on its water use in the U.S. Supreme Court. Florida has already lost round after round in court, but the Supreme Court gave Florida one more chance. On Monday, the justices heard arguments for an hour, but based on the justices' questions and comments, it did not appear to go particularly well for Florida. Georgia claimed Florida's oyster losses are due to overharvesting and its own mismanagement. Chief Justice Roberts pressed the point that while Georgia may have contributed to Florida's losses, it may not be the only cause, again citing evidence that drought and overharvesting may also have been contributors. Justice Breyer, who had been a swing vote in giving Florida another round in court, questioned Florida's evidence. And he and Justice Alito cited conflicting evidence, as the justices appear to be skeptical of Florida's case in this final round of the water war with Georgia. All that doesn't bode well for Florida, that's for sure. Having said that, we know that justices often play devil's advocate. The questions and the tone they take in arguments don't always reflect the way they vote in the end. We'll find out a little later this year, Kelly. We're expecting a decision by June.
Hope so, because I know this is costing a lot of money. A lot of people may be watching this and going, how much are Florida's legal bills for taxpayers to pay?
Well, just in the last round, going back to 2013, you're talking about some $57 million in legal fees just in that stage. At one point, we were paying taxpayers, lawyers, $825 an hour.
All right. Craig Patrick, thank you so much, Craig.